Renting versus buying comes down to one number, and today that number is 6.7%. That's the return your money has to beat for renting to win. Beat it, you rent. Miss it, you buy. Here's the part that should stop you. This week's mortgage rate is 6.67%. The bar your money has to clear sits 0.02 of a point from the rate the bank charges you. Those two numbers have nothing to do with each other. They cross this month and they will drift apart again. And I'll show you why in a minute. 3 numbers do the work here. The third one is the one nobody says out loud. You already know the rule. Stay 5 to 7 years and buying pays off. It's on every listing site and in every mortgage explainer, and it sounds like a fact about houses. It isn't. It's a fact about a spreadsheet somebody ran once, and the assumption inside it was never printed on the box. Ask the person repeating it what return they assumed, and watch what happens. So let's run it properly. A $400,000 house, just under the American median of $408,776. 20% down is $80,000. Closing costs take another $12,000. That's $92,000 gone before anyone turns a key. The rate is 6.67%, published by Freddie Mac on Thursday, and the rent figure is Zillow's June median, not a screenshot going around. And the rule that everybody repeats never once mentions the thing that actually decides it. So stop asking how long you're going to stay. Say 5 to 7 years out loud, and you have already placed a bet. You have bet that your money earns somewhere around 5% a year. Nobody told you that's what you were betting. Here's the whole thing in 2 columns. Owning costs $2,058.53 in principal and interest. Property tax adds $296. Insurance adds $207. Maintenance adds another $333, which is 1% of the house every year, and it's not optional. Total, $2,895 a month. Renting the same place costs $1,965. The gap is $930 a month, and that money is real. It belongs to the renter. What would an extra $930 a month be doing in your account right now? So the renter starts with $92,000 invested and adds $930 every month. The buyer starts with a house and a loan. Run both forward, and there is exactly one rate of return where the two finish level. Call it the housing hurdle. Above the hurdle, renting wins. Below it, buying wins. That's the entire decision. Yours takes 10 seconds. Take the price of the place you'd buy and divide it by 12 months of rent on the place you're thinking of renting. It's the price to rent ratio. Pause and run it now, because you'll want that number before this is over. Meet Jim. He's 34, an HVAC service tech, and he makes $58,000 a year. He has $92,000 saved. Same man, same money, 2 paths, 1 signature apart. Start with a short stay, because this is the one place the year's rule is dead right. Jim buys that $400,000 house and sells 3 years later. The house has gained $53,851. Getting in cost him $12,000, and getting out costs $22,693 in agent fees and closing. Friction eats $34,693 of a $53,851 gain. He paid $62,987 in mortgage interest, and another $31,908 in taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Even after appreciation, Jim is down $75,737. Rents rise about 3% a year on average, so renting for 3 years costs $73,880. Even if the renter earned 0% on the $92,000 he started with, and 0% on the $32,103 he banked along the way, he still comes out almost $2,000 ahead. At 3 years, the hurdle sits at roughly 0, which means buying loses to any return or nothing at all. How long have you actually lived at your current address? First rung. Your money earns 4.5%. Buying overtakes renting at 5.75 years. There's the famous rule, and now you can see what it assumes. Second rung, 5.5%. Now it's 7 years. Third rung, 6%. Now it's 8.25 years. Fourth rung, 6.5%. Now it's 10.5 years. Watch what's happening. Every half point more you earn pushes the payoff further out, and it moves faster each time you add one. Fifth rung, 7%. Buying never catches up. Not at 15 years, not at 30. Not ever. Read that again. The long-run return on a broad index fund runs about 7%. At the median American house, at today's rates, there is no year on the calendar where buying turns it around. That's the hurdle, 6.7%. Put dollars on it. 30 years out, at a 7% return, Jim, who bought, is holding $1,343,733 once you subtract selling costs from a house he owns outright. The renter is holding $1,448,109, $104,000 apart. Same salary, same town, same starting balance, from a decision that felt like it was about square footage. Now the coincidence. The mortgage rate today is 6.67%, and the hurdle is 6.69%. And it is tempting to decide the rate on your loan is the bar. It isn't. Push the mortgage rate to 9%, and the hurdle drops to 5.12%. Pull it down to 5%, and the hurdle climbs to 7.93%. They move in opposite directions. A more expensive loan makes owning cost more every month, which hands the renter a bigger check to invest, which makes renting easier to win. Those two numbers cross this month. They will not stay crossed. Here's the other thing everybody gets wrong, and this one is older than the rate. You've been told rent climbs forever, while your mortgage payment stays flat. Only the principal and interest stays flat. Property tax rides the house up, so does maintenance, and the house is appreciating at 4.3% a year, while rent grows at 3%. Jim's cost to own starts at $2,895 a month. By year 30, it's $4,788. His rent would have started at $1,965 and reached $4,770, $18 apart, after 30 years of paying more every single month. The fixed payment was never fixed. Only one line of it was. When did anyone tell you that? One condition on all of this, and it's the premise, not the lesson. Renting only wins if that $930 gets invested. Spend it and you lose to the home buyer, badly. The bank forces the buyer to save. Nobody forces the renter. Now the honest part, and it's the reason your answer might not match Jim's. This is the median house. Run that price to rent ratio you calculated earlier. Under about 16.5, buying clears the hurdle, and the year's rule comes back to life. Jim's house is 16.96, just over the line. The American median is 17.34, close enough so that two people can run honest math and walk away with opposite answers. Move to a cheaper town and the whole thing flips. Same $1,965 rent against a $330,000 house is a ratio of 14, and there the hurdle jumps to 8.83%. Almost nothing clears 8.83%. In that town, buy the house. And the input that moves this answer most is not the mortgage rate everybody watches, it's maintenance. The third number I referenced in the beginning. At 1% a year, the hurdle is 6.69%. At 2%, it's 4.95%. That's a bigger swing than a full point on your loan, and every version of this math, including this one, is guessing at it. So go back to where you started. You thought you were asking how many years you'd stay in the house. Take the price of the place you'd buy, divide by 12 months of rent on the place you'd rent. Under 16.5, buy. Over 16.5, rent. That's it. That's the whole calculation, and you can do it standing in the kitchen. You were never answering a question about time. You were guessing at a return and calling it a timeline. And you're allowed to just want the house. Wanting a door with your name on it is not a math error, and a plan doesn't have to be optimal to be good. Just don't let anyone tell you the years made it free. So what's your number? Run your ratio and drop it in the comments. Over 16.5 or under, I want to see where people are landing. If your money is already invested and you want to see what it's actually earning you per hour, that one's on the screen now. Remember, this isn't personal financial advice, it's information so you can build your own plan. See you on the next one.